Hey, just back from a trip abroad. I went to Canada, and I went to Canada via Las Vegas. And I just wanted to share. I just wanted to share an experience, and through this experience, the real importance of systems. So when we flew across to Las Vegas, we went via New York and stopped off at JFK International Airport. And I was truly shocked at the. Actually, it was pretty appalling. The whatever system that they had running it just seemed chaotic to get us on a transfer from one plane to the next, and to the point that we were actually running to catch the plane at the end. And when we arrived, we had a good hour and 45 minutes to get through. And so, there were a whole series of things that just didn't seem to have any cohesion to them, no systemization. There was, a random amount of, I guess, border force on the kiosks with hundreds of people. I mean, not just one plane load, and we just come from the UK, but multiple plane loads of people queuing to try and get through, and then a kiosk would have someone from, the border force there, and then someone would leave, and then they wouldn't be replaced, and it just I mean, to be fair, they say sometimes that traveling can make you feel quite anxious anyway, and then suddenly you can see the minutes, the tens of minutes ticking away. So that was the first thing to get through. Then we got through that, and it was a case of then we had to collect our luggage, which felt really quite bizarre. That actually transfers, normally the system is that it would just be automated and barcode, and that would track you through to the next plane. But that didn't happen, so we had to collect our bag. Once we collected our bag, we then had to go and put it on a conveyor belt with no other checks. Just actually, we picked it up and put it on the conveyor belt. Then it got loaded onto the plane. We then had to go again through security. So now we'd obviously come out of one aspect. So we hadn't stayed on the international side of the terminal. We had to come out of the terminal, go back through security, and it was carnage, absolute carnage. They had the whole queue thing going, but it just seemed to there just seemed no logic to it. Um, the employees, the people on the security positions themselves were clearly agitated, angry in some cases. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that that is a case of how they turned up for work and they were bad employees. I think actually it was symptomatic of the fact that the system was broken. It ended up with us getting through, and eventually we were heading down to our gate, and we actually had to run as people were boarding the plane. So from having an hour 45 and feeling pretty comfortable that we could grab a cup of tea, have a chill, get on the plane, to, are we going to make this? And I think had we not had the priority pass, which was, again, that make it sound as though, oh, there's a system there. Well, it literally wasn't. It was a little area where you went to, and then you walked down another queue, and again, people were bustling and bumping past you and all sorts. Arrive at Vegas, same country, seamless exit from the plane. Now, basically, obviously it's a domestic flight now, so we come off from that, seamless, got our bags, and enjoyed a couple of days in Vegas. We were then heading up to Calgary. So leaving Vegas, seamless. Now, the interesting point on this one is when you look at Las Vegas, it's an example of really great business. And the reason I say that is because pretty much any business outside of the strip, when you look at them in the external shopping malls, they are £1 million businesses. It's just everything about the way Vegas operates is just designed to be exemplary. Now, I know that there are areas in Vegas where that might not be the case, but I just want to highlight the fact that Vegas, as an organization in its own right, revolves around people coming and going on a daily basis, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of covers and rooms that get changed every single day. So if there was any challenge in terms of actually getting in and out via the airport, it would be detrimental to Vegas. You can see why they've got good systems. But anyway, we flew up to Calgary, and when we arrived in Calgary, again, we were met with absolute precision when it came to systemization. We got off the plane and walked down a concourse, and we thought we were going to hit a major roadblock. There was people starting to back up and queue. But then suddenly realized how quickly this queue was moving, but it was systemized, it was structured. Then we got through to the point where you had to get your passport out, and it was all automated and it was structured and systemized. And then you were through to collect your bags. And it reinforced for me, the experience at JFK, the power of systems, not just in case of actually, as a customer, how it makes you feel, but actually that for employees, it makes life easier. It creates more harmony. It's positive for culture. Maybe have a look at the systems that you got in your business and ask yourself the questions. Are the systems that we got, are they increasing productivity? Are they increasing harmony? Does it actually increase engagement with our team? Are there areas that you maybe need to focus on systemization? Just wanted to share that thought. It was something that I thought was quite valuable experience from my trip abroad. Have a great day.